Welcome to Community Taking Action, ABCD's program highlighting people and organizations doing things in and around the Boston area. My name is Eric Mitchell and I'm your host. And today we're going to talk about community development with Urban Edge. We have Katie Provencher, who's the Director of Community Engagement. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eric, and a big thank you to ABCD for having me on the program today. Urban Edge is very happy to be a part of this conversation.
Well, we're glad to have you. I think Urban Edge is well respected for doing a lot of work in the community. So as Director of Community Engagement, you can talk about what you do, or we can jump right in and talk about what Urban Edge does.
For folks who don't know, Urban Edge really started 40 years ago as a result of redlining that was happening in the neighborhood. So banks were steering particular people based on races or ethnicities to particular neighborhoods to live, and we really worked to fight against redlining. Started as a brokerage service, and then really evolved into owning multifamily housing. And so right on Columbus Ave, right across from the Dimock Health Center, is a property we called Dimock Bragdon. It was our first multifamily housing.
Really? It's the first one?
Yeah, it was our first one. And we turned it into housing for families. We own a little under 1,300 units of affordable housing. Our service core area runs from Jackson Square to Eggleston Square. And we're a little unique from other community development corporations in that we co-own about 40% of our portfolio with resident associations. So actual organized resident groups who are their own nonprofits who we co-own with as a nonprofit structured in the real estate deal. We own some properties in Dorchester, Tharrock Apartments, which is a scattered site on Maple and Sonoma, Columbia Road. And then we've done some work with a sister community development corporation, Lena Park, out in Mattapan and Dorchester as well.
Talk about the scope of the work that you do. I mean, beyond the portfolio and real estate, there's a range of other things that you guys do.
There is. We have a team of full-time employees who really work with residents within our portfolio to make sure that we're preserving their tenancy. So we work with families who have fallen behind in rent or have fallen behind on paying utilities, have a housekeeping issue, are having other conflicts, and we really work to make sure that families are remaining housed, right? It's one thing for us to be building these buildings and making sure they're affordable, but we want to spend equal amounts of effort making sure that families remain housed in them. So that's a big part of the work that we do. Over the past few years, we've really incorporated benefit enrollment work into that sphere. So screening families for benefits that they qualify for, but they aren't necessarily receiving. We've been doing this for about 4 to 5 years, and we find on average a family qualifies for about $2,100 worth of benefits that they're not receiving. And so we'll do whatever it takes to make sure they're connected to those. And then we do, with those families that we work with around this tenancy preservation, we also do financial coaching, really doing a budget with families if that's something that's helpful to them, pulling credit scores and having those conversations as well. So we do a whole piece around that. And then we give a lot of effort and resources into active resident groups. So for us, an active resident group is a win-win for us as an owner, for our property management company, and for the residents in terms of being engaged in leadership development. So at properties where we co-own, we make sure that we're doing a lot around leadership development and capacity building. And at those properties where we don't necessarily co-own with a resident group, but there's a group of residents who are interested in being active in their development in their neighborhood, we give support to that. And then we do a lot around neighborhood coalition building. We're part of the local Main Streets, we're part of the merchant groups, we're part of the Eggleston Coalition. We run some really great programs. We are in the final 3 sessions of our free tax prep center. So we run a volunteer income tax assistance program. We had a goal of 500 families this year. We have a goal, and we're about 48 families short. We run that right out of our main office at 1542 Columbus Ave. We obviously target those who are living.
Especially target those who live.
Exactly, but I'd say we give equal efforts to making sure folks in the neighborhood know. I mean, we really like it to be around the neighborhood, but anyone who comes in to get their taxes done, we'll do that for them.
Any other unique programs that Urban Edge is working on?
Oh, yeah. So we have a few different asset building and home ownership programs. So we run a first-time homebuyer class that we've been running for many years, and we do specific classes in Spanish as well, which is helpful for folks. We do student loan counseling.
Really?
Yeah, so as a result of our third program I'm going to mention is foreclosure prevention, we've really helped hundreds of families who have struggled with foreclosure. We were finding that a big piece of difficulty with people with budgeting was repaying their student loans, and so
it's a huge
it is.
piece
It is,
of it.
and a lot of folks who qualify for different programs who don't know that they can qualify and have, parts of their student loans written off or rejiggered. We've worked with ABCD for over 8 years now around our summer youth program.
Absolutely.
So over the past 8 years, we've employed anywhere from 20 to 50 young people for the summer. We target young people living within Urban Edge's portfolio, also include our friends over at New Academy Estates and over at Bromley Heath, and just being comprehensive of the neighborhood and really place young people in both local jobs in the neighborhood, but also downtown jobs. So a few years ago, we really reached out to folks we work with in the real estate world in terms of architects or engineers and asked them to host a young person for the summer, and they did that, and it was really, really great.
I want to do a little bit of a shift now and talk about the future of Urban Edge. Where's Urban Edge going?
One thing that we're really working on is building the indoor recreation center right in Jackson Square. It'll be right on the corner of Ritchie Street and Columbus Ave. The first floor annex that we have now as part of our offices will come down, and then the rec center will be right in that space and including the parking lot. And so we're needing to raise over $6 million to make that project happen. And so we've been spending a lot of time talking with a lot of folks to make sure that we're moving that along. So that's a huge priority for us. We've done a demand analysis, we've done a feasibility study, really looked at making sure there's the demand for this recreation center, which will be both ice and turf. So it'll be ice 7 months of the year and turf 5 months of the year. And really left the turf programming very broad at this point to make sure that it can be best utilized by the neighborhood. And we've had an enormous support from residents of the neighborhood and residents of Urban Edge Housing and different stakeholders throughout the community to really move this forward, and for folks to say that this would be a great resource for young people living in this neighborhood. We've done a lot looking at the out of school time opportunities and the lack of out of school time opportunities that exist, and this really being a place where young people can go after school and on the weekends and take part in different recreation events. And in terms of the future, Urban Edge is in the middle of strategic planning for the next 5 years, really looking at 2015 to 2020, what we want to get involved in, where we want to go, who we want to be, and really wanting to strengthen our programs that we have in our core service area, really focus on Eggleston Square as a piece of this. We definitely see the need for involvement in the educational realm, and so we've piloted a pre-kindergarten readiness program. We ran a small pilot and had some great successes in terms of families being involved and young people working on their literacy, and some parents engaging in different parenting skills that they helped design, and are running a full program this year during the school year, and have heard from folks in the neighborhood and residents that we work with that education is a key piece of really making sure that young people are prepared for kindergarten to succeed. And so we've been focusing on that. Economic resiliency, so really making sure that families have what they need in order to weather the ups and downs in their lives, the unexpected phenomena that happen. So really focusing on economic resiliency, we've heard that as well. And public safety and health, those have been 4 topics that have come up and that we're really looking at.
I want to thank Urban Edge for all the work that you all have been doing in the community. I want to thank you for coming on to our program and really talking to us about all of the things that Urban Edge does and has done and will do in the future.
Thank you, Eric, for having me, and thank you to ABCD as well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that concludes our program for today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and if you've missed any episodes, you can find us on YouTube. My name is Eric Mitchell. I'm your host for Community Taking Action. Until next time.